out there, everyone? Welcome to my live stream. We're back Saturday, 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock, Pacifically speaking, Pacific time. I'm here. I'm by myself, so I'm loading this up. There we are. We're here. Josh Norco, thanks for coming back. Lucas Gurney, Connor. Hey there, everybody. Yeah, so I released my brand new Inspired by Clapton course, which is mostly focused on lead guitar stuff. And basically I listen to just tons of classic Clapton music, a lot of Cream, a lot of Blues Breakers, because that's one of his classic things. And then his solo stuff, Derek and the Dominoes, all the different eras, when he played humbuckers all the way to when he switched to Strat. And I put together 40 chapters in that new course. So it'll be pinned in the comments. Like I said, I'm here by myself. Hey, Kathy G. Great to see all of you again. Yep, there's the pinned comment. So check it out. It's a special introductory price right now that will be ending Monday. I'm in a little studio here. If you hear, there is some construction going on outside. I don't think you'll be able to hear it, but if you do, that's just what's going on. Can't control that stuff. I'll start with a little jam. Works. I just checked it. Just look at the pin comment and go down to the bottom and you will see that it is there. Okay, let me jam over this again. adjust that a little bit like that. So once again, talking about some Clapton style playing, but check it out. I was just doing a jam in D, a D7 to G7, very basic kind of jam, but check it out. He would definitely use what I call the minor pentatonic extended run. He used it as his main kind of like freeway for soloing, and he would mix elements of the major pentatonic, elements of the minor pentatonic. DJ Cartier, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. But so check it out. If the root's right here on the 10th fret, the 10th fret E string, and also check it out. I'm using, it's just the mic from the phone, but I'm using the bridge pickup. But look what I did, another Clapton thing, his woman tone that he used in the early Cream era especially. You know, when you use that bridge pickup, it's pretty bright. So if you roll that bass all the way down, it's too dark. But then you start to roll it up, and so it just starts to cut through. I mean, it's like the term season to taste, because that's really what I was doing there. But I've been kind of using mostly that pickup configuration the last few years, where I use the bridge pickup and then roll the tone down. Okay, so here's that extended scale though that I want you to check out. Be the root on the 10th fret E string, but then we're going to do 8 to 10 on the E and 8 to 10 on the A, and then slide that 10 up to 12. Do you ever go over the Bluesbreaker era songs, licks, and tones? Yes, I do. Probably most of the licks come from that era on the new Inspired by Clapton course, because that's some of my favorite stuff. Let's see. Yeah, you definitely want to check it out. I'm going to talk about some of that right now, though. And someone else, Sax Cover says, do I like Carl Brown? Yes, I do like Carl Brown. I know him. I think he's a great guy, great teacher, great musician. For whatever reason, I don't know why I get asked that. People ask me about other YouTubers and stuff. Like, we live in some mansion together, which is silly. Not that you said that, but I get asked about this stuff because, like, somehow I feel like people want me to, they're expecting me to, like, say something about a rivalry or something, which is just not the case. And also, if you look at the amount of videos I make, I don't even have time to look at other people's stuff. So really the only thing I'm competing with is myself and how my channel's doing. I'm not paying attention to other people, you know. I'm worried about my own audience and the people that are already coming in and watching and responding and asking questions and all that. So it has nothing to do with other YouTubers. Okay, so check it out. 8-10 on the E, 8-10 on the A, slide up to 12. You already, when you get those slides, you get this great kind of feeling in there. And then when I slid up to the 12th on the A string, then now I'm in that basic, what I call the home row pentatonic. I saw your 15 comments, Lucas. Thank you. Okay, so let's finish that extended, because then I'm going to show you something to do with that extended scale. So 8-10, 8-10, slide to 12, then 10-12 on the D, 10-12 on the G, then slide that up to 14 on the G. Then we have 13, 15 on the B, and then 13 to 15 on the high E, and then that can be slid up to 17, or bent up a whole step. But it can also do half step bend or half step slide. So if you comment like 15 of the same comment in a row, it's kind of like spamming, If it's really obnoxious, then it's definitely spamming. But if it's just like, you're trying to get my attention, I appreciate you and I see it. But if you get too crazy with the same thing over and over and over, Matt, who's my moderator, but he's moderating from Nashville. I'm in San Diego right now. But if he's moderating from San Diego and you do too many comments, then he's going to put you in a little timeout. You're going to have to sit over on the stairs by yourself for a little 15-minute timeout. But anyway, let's take that extended scale. And here it is over the jam. So you can get so much expression out of just that device. What I just did there was I didn't even play licks. I just played the device with like some feel behind it, right? So the device is, and it's the first thing I show in the new course that's pinned right there. So if you get the course and the first thing you see is you're like, oh wait, I already know that. It's just me showing you the foundation of what we're about to do for, a bunch of the chapters. And by the way, the course, which you can see pinned right there, it's over 10 hours of lead guitar stuff. So I'm showing you, about 40 minutes worth of the concepts, but it's all in there. It's all tabbed, tablature, PDFs, transcription, all that stuff. So here's the device. But if I just add a little feel to it without even turning them into licks, it immediately sounds more like soloing. Here it is. Back the other way. All right, so I started to turn them into licks at the end there just to show you. But here's another thing you can immediately add to it, which it's such a huge part of Clapton's soloing in any of his eras, is certain notes there that you start to bend a little almost before they're out of tune. So you're not doing a complete half step bend. They're more like quarter tone bends. And so if I'm playing the 10th fret D string to the 12th fret on the D string, the 12th fret's the root, the 12th, yes, Alex Holden, the nudgy bends. That's my own term, nudgy bends, little nudges, it's not a full bend. So I call them nudgy bends. I come up with silly little names, but it helps you remember them, I think. So 12th fret D string, you don't bend at all, it's the root. But the one right below it is one of those nudgy bends. I'm just going to do that. You hear that? As opposed to, which is great, if I bend that 10th fret D a little, you got to make sure that when you go to the 12th fret that the string's not bent anymore. And then you can do that 12th fret, 10th fret D string nudgy bend to the 12th fret A string. And someone said, where's your strat? Well, here's the thing that's interesting. Not everyone knows it. A lot of people that are into blues rock will know it, though. is that Clapton actually switched to a Strat later on in kind of the second wave of his career. In the beginning of his career, he was playing humbucker guitars. He played a 335. He played an SG. You know, he played more Gibson-style guitars until later. Someone said, please analyze Clapton's Crossroads 2010 performance of I Shot the Sheriff. You know what's pretty amazing is I was there live. I was there at that show live. I took my younger brother there, and that was epic. It was such a great show, except the weather was too hot and humid, like brutally, like dangerously hot and humid that day. So that was a little brutal. Other highlights, Derek, it was before Tedeschi Trucks was officially the name of that new band. But that was the first time they played Midnight at Harlem, which is a Derek Trucks showstopper of a performance. Bill Murray was the MC. There were so many insane things. Saw Christopher Lloyd, that's his name, right? Doc from Back to the Future. Just like in the audience, there was like definitely famous people in the audience, but Christopher Lloyd, it was his son or his stepson, you know, the lady he was with, it was definitely her son, but her son was watching my videos. That was already 15 years ago, which is insane. But it was cool. I got to meet Doc Brown. All right, let me get back to those nudgy bends. So the first one, 10th fret on the D string nudgy bend. Great Scott, Marty, 1.31 gigawatts of electricity. Okay, so that's the first one. The next one, though, is probably the most used one, is the 10th fret G string. And we're in the key of D, but you could move around to other keys. So did you guys see my video where I talked about how I met Slash and the same day Howard Stern? I was on the phone with Howard Stern for like an hour on the phone. And then I went to Gibson to do a thing with them, not knowing that I was also about to meet Slash. Did you guys check out that video? Because I have a bunch of other stories like that, and people really responded to it. So I'm gonna do more of those. I already made another one that's not out yet, and it's not as exciting about meeting somebody. But since you guys liked the stories, which I usually would only do in these live streams, but so I'm making specific videos with those stories. But the next one that's coming out, since you guys asked for more, I thought it would be appropriate to tell my learning guitar story, how I started playing guitar, why, how old I was. It's a question I get a lot. So I basically have a 20-minute story coming out about when I was a teenager and learning guitar. So that's the next one coming out. But I'm definitely going to do more about those, like meeting people. And Christopher Lloyd, that is his name, right? From Taxi, Back to the Future, so many other things, but obviously Back to the Future will be his #1 role of all time, right? Christopher Lloyd? Anyway, I only just remembered that I met him because someone brought up the Crossroads 2010. So I'm going to have to like really start going through my own memory of these different situations. Like I met Joe Pesci once, now that I'm thinking about it. I met Leonardo DiCaprio. And these are not like Leonardo DiCaprio, he doesn't know who I am. He was just at the same event that I was at, and I bumped into him for a very split second, said hello. That was it. He had no idea who I was. But what I will say is that Leonardo DiCaprio and myself have the exact same birthday, same year. That's just trivia. That's not anything that means anything to me. But Leo and I have the same year, same age, same birthday. I'm not dating 25-year-old models though, but or 24-year-old models or whatever. But yeah, so I will say when I met Joe Pesci, he was super cool. Super, super cool. Okay. Yeah, and who was I just talking to? Haven't met face to face, but was just talking to on in DMs. Kevin Nealon, old SNL subliminal man, and one of the funniest guys on the planet. Kevin Nealon, shout out. Apparently, he plays guitar. I didn't know. He was talking to me about some blues lesson I was doing. That was really flattering because I'm a big fan of his. And then a great follow and little exchange with Joey Pantalones. I'm not sure if I'm saying his last name right, but I mean, every single 80s movie, he's in The Matrix, Midnight Run, amazing role on The Sopranos. He was just on Last of Us. Great character actor from so many movies. He was a Fratelli brother in The Goonies. I mean, I grew up with him, and so I just exchanged a little pleasantry with him as well. Okay, back to these nudgy bends. So here's just nudgy bends on the 10th fret D and 10th fret G. There's a lick I teach in the new Clapton course, not in this position, but it's where you do a nudgy bend. This is live, Slinky plays. 10th fret nudgy bend. And then it gets a little out of tune, and within it still being bent, you grab the next note up. Then you grab the next note over, which is the 10th fret B. And then with that a little out of tune, you go between the G and B string like this. And so one of the things with Clapton when he was in his Cream era is he played a lot more double stops, unison bends, to fill out the fact that there was no one playing chords underneath him. It was just drums and bass. And even the bass in that setting would play some chords on the bass, which you don't normally do on bass, and he'd play it dirtier and fuzzier, just so they were filling up more space in the mix. So there's a whole section where I'm doing more of that filling out power trio style lead guitar that he did, which is more of the stuff like that. So it's all in there, over 10 hours worth in that new course. But okay, so here's what I got. The nudgy bends on the 10th fret D, nudgy bends on the 10th fret G. And then when you go up an octave, it's the same thing. It would be the 13 on the B. And then be 13 on the high E. And so the thing with those nudgy bends is you don't want to hear the bend come back down. You hear it go up, and then it's cut off. You don't hear this. That's not good. You only want to hear it going up. And then once it gets almost out of tune, you go to the note above or the note below. Or... And it imitates the voice. What I was just playing there is like... normally in the key of E. Oh, baby. Has that been Black Dog? Yeah, Black Dog. But it really comes from that vocal sound. It's also why we like guitar so much, because we can get the in-between. You know, you have this note, and you have this note, but you have the in-between. And so then you'd also have it on the 8th fret E. And And then you'd have it on the 8th fret of the A string. So these are all the nudgy bends now in that. That extended scale, but now with the nudgy bends. And I can do it without even playing licks. Just practice the run. I can turn my guitar down a little bit because it's probably doing like a autocorrect with my lower voice, higher guitar. But it's just from the phone, folks, so just deal with it. I love John Frusciante. I've seen him live. I saw the classic early 90s Chili Peppers, 1991. Saw them. Blood Sugar Sex Magik was it was the first show of the Blood Sugar Sex Magik tour in LA with openers Nirvana and Pearl Jam. And Pearl Jam's album 10 was not even out yet. It was like a favor gig. So I saw that show. It was amazing. Josh Klinghoffer, I think he's really good. Good guitar player, good musician. Didn't he run someone over in his car? I'm not saying on purpose. There's some story there. Okay, so here, nudgy bends, but just running the scale without licks. Now within a little looper jam. Yeah, that's 3 octaves worth. Here's a different kind of jam in D. Oops. Okay, so that brings me to another Claptonism. I had a Claptonism. A Claptonism. You take that minor pentatonic scale and you hammer on the major third from the minor third. And if you don't know music theory, I mean, it's not that advanced of a concept, but basically, if you're in that D minor pentatonic, the minor third is the 10th fret G string. The hammer-on up a half step would be hammering from 10 to 11 on the G string. You don't pull that off, you only hear it going up, just like the nudgy bend. And so if you're descending down the pentatonic, like 10 on the high E, 13 on the B to 10. Then when you go to 12 on the G, you still hammer from 10 to 11 on the G like this. So that would sound like this. Alex Holden. Alex Holden is watching the course. Alex, I appreciate you so much. You're also do my private live stream only as well. I really appreciate you. And you did the chapter 5 creamy lick. Well, thank you so much. And on the Clapton course itself, I actually edited and shot the course by myself. So I didn't use a professional editor. Although since I just sold it to you and you bought it, that makes me a professional editor, whether I want to be one or not. So thank you for watching my own edits. Forgive me if it's not, the super pro. I mean, I think I did a solid job, but I'm just letting you know I produced it myself. I edited it myself. I wanted it to come out as soon as possible because I have so many other things going on that I need to be talking about, like my Marty Music Mountain Retreat in September. So many different things going on. I'm starting a membership community for martymusic.com. So there's so many things going on. I needed it to come out as soon as possible. My editor was on a Europe trip for a few weeks. And so that would have put it back because he had backlogged content. And then on top of that, a course. So anyway, I just thank you so much for checking it out. Okay, so let's check this out. The hammer-on major third. Big Benny's said, you have any bluegrass tutorials? No, well, I have some basic bluegrass concepts because I love bluegrass. I'm not a great bluegrass player, but what's really cool is I produced a masterclass of who I think is the greatest bluegrass, like younger, best. There is no greatest, but let's just say one of the greatest bluegrass players that's doing it today in his prime is a friend of mine named Trey Hensley that's been on the channel. I had to make a masterclass for him. I asked him to let me do it, and so we shot it. It's getting edited right now. But I love Newgrass Revival too. But so a Trey Hensley masterclass will be coming out in the next few months. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to be now hammering on from 10 to 11 on the G string in the key of D. Dyer Holhan is saying Fred West. Fred West. Good, Fred West, yes. For a second, I thought you meant Fred Wesley. What? He smokes bluegrass? So that's that major third hammer-on. He would do a lick like this a lot in that same key, D. Bend that G string on the 12th fret. Then play 10 on the B, 10 on the high E. You go through that. And then on the way back is when you do that hammer-on from 10 to 11. So one other thing, let's talk about the more double stops, unison bend stuff. Whatever note you have on the B string, if you go up a whole step on the G string and then bend that up a whole step, you're now doing a unison bend like this. And then right in that same zone, You can do double stops on the 10th of the G and B, and the same thing on the G and B of the 12th fret. Can I do the Power Rangers themes tapping part? Although you said taping part, it's actually two P's. Power Rangers, go Power Rangers. I will admit that I'm actually so old that I was already too old when Power Rangers came out. But Matt, who's watching and moderating right now, my manager, Matt, he said he's younger than me by about 15 years or so. And he was there was a whole like 4 or 5 Halloweens in a row where he was a different colored Power Ranger. So I get the love. I'm past the age of Power Rangers. I'm familiar with the song, but don't know much about that otherwise. Okay, so the double stop here. And even with that double stop where I'm covering the 10th fret G and B, I can hammer on that 11 depending on the context of the jam. Josh Norco with the super chat. Great to see you again, Josh. I don't think you were at the last live stream. It wasn't last week, though. I did not do one last week. So 2 weeks ago. Rue said, look, I'm going to come out and say it. You are legendary. Thank you, Rue. I won't let it go to my head. That's why I keep the hat on nice and tight. Keep the head in there. Alex Holden, Jimmy double stop bends. Dirty Mac, Year Blues, Clapton finest solo. Oh, yeah. White Room. White Room is in the key of D. Let's see. Let's see. By the way, that is a great progression to practice soloing over. Stormy weather, thank you so much. Sarit Varjak-san, thank you. Shauna TV, go Marty, that sounds great, thank you. Pedro Juan, Daniel Canuck, The Cringe. Hey, when you do this tutorials, do you use your own versions or do you watch stage recordings? Sometimes it sounds kind of wrong. Genuine question. There's not a good answer for that, but I do multiple research, official songbooks, tab, live versions. Nobody's perfect, so I'm not going to say I'm perfect, but another thing is it depends, like, take a Foo Fighters song, you know, there's like 4 guitar parts, right? So if I'm just playing one of those parts in the intro, it's not going to sound right to you because there's 4 other parts that I can't play at the same time. So that'd be one reason. I mean, there's just so many reasons to that. And like I said, I've been doing it for 17 years. So I think I've actually gotten, you know, and I've evolved with that. But I would say I don't think I've ever been more accurate the last like 5 years. So also it's going to refer to what era of my videos you were watching. There was a time where I was like, had different situations going on where I had to do stuff really fast. And so sometimes things were rushed. There's different phases of my life I've gone through. So it really, 17 years of me doing it means that I've evolved. Whereas like in some of my early videos, I was making them like for private students, not knowing anyone would watch them, and now they exist forever. So it really depends on what was going on. So there's not really one specific answer to that. Okay, so is there any chance you could recommend a song for me to learn? I would love one of your recommendations, Lucas Gurney. Well, White Room's a good one. Sunshine of Your Love. That's a good one. Okay, so White Room. Play a D, but I'm not going to play the high E of it. So it's like a D power chord. Then you go to the 3rd fret A string. Then I grab that 2nd fret. I play guitar 103 says, you taught me all I know, dude. Well, thank you so much. So D power chord, 3rd fret A, which I'm using my middle finger. Then I just take my index finger off and I grab that 2nd fret A. Then I'm doing power chords. 1st fret A root, up a whole step to C, so B flat C. And that progression is so fun to play. All the stuff that I was just doing. Check it out. So far in this whole live stream, I only did the E root extended, but there's an A root version. So if I'm in the key of D, I can play the 5th fret A string and play the minor pentatonic right there, which is, I think, the first 2 chapters of this Clapton course for sale right now till Monday, pinned right there. So that's the minor pentatonic where you find the root on the A string. That's got its own extended scale, which real quick, the key of D would be 3, 5, 3, 5, 3, 5, slide to 7. 5, 7 on the G, 6 to 8 on the B, slid to 10, and then 8, 10 on the high E. And then if you switch your index to that 10, now you're in the one we've worked on this whole live stream. So that would be this. Let's see. It's a good question. Can you sum up scales in the simplest way you can? To answer your question specifically, right? If I was giving you an hour-long guitar lesson, the answer might be a little different. But you said specifically, explain scales in the easiest way possible. Here I go. A scale is a group of notes that work. They're the like correct notes when you plug it in to the specifically over the type of chord you're playing. So if I'm playing a jam in D, then I plug in a pool of notes based on the D note. And then those are the right notes. That doesn't turn you into an amazing soloist, but it gives you a starting point to know, okay, those colors, red, blue, green, yellow, and orange, fit over that piece of paper. And then I'm going to take those colors and do long strokes, tiny dots, blend them together, circles, triangles, geometric shapes, thick patterns, light patterns, and that is the improvising. How's that for the answer? Okay, so we're going to wrap up soon, but I wanted to talk about one other Clapton-ism Clapton-ism. So that's the white room. I'm going to switch keys now. We did everything in D so far. So if you watch back, this video will exist. You can watch back anytime. It's archived. And so everything I did so far was the key of D. Now I'm going to do the key of G. So nothing changes. I just plug in everything I was just doing. But instead of starting it where the D note is, I start it where the G note is. But here's this other Clapton-ism. And it's later on, and it reminds me of someone was asking about his I Shot the Sheriff 2010 solo from the Crossroads Festival. Later in his career, especially like more when he was in the Stratocaster kind of vibe, he did more of these like hammer-on pull-off like trills. So if I'm in the key of G, let's say I'm 6 and 8 on the high E and 6 and 8 on the B, he would do stuff like this. He does it in the Layla. So later on, he definitely did more of those little kind of trill things. So in the, so if I'm planted on the 6th fret high E, I hammer on pull off the 8th fret. And then I just hammer on pull off and then go to the adjacent note. So if I'm on the B string, any scale, you can do that. And different variations of it. Shauna TV, more people hit the like button, please. Thank you for that positivity, Shauna TV. You're your own TV, Shauna. Have I ever heard of Big Country from Dunfermline? Great band. Is that the same band that was in a big country, they sang with you on the lover's side, on the mountainside, dee, 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 in the big country. Did Big Country do the song Big Country? Anyway, hammer on pull-offs with, and this is all in the course, obviously 10 hours worth is in the course. This has been 48 minutes so far of me talking about the course. But I do appreciate, real quick, anyone that buys that Inspired by Clapton course, it's either pinned there or pinned down there. Anyone that buys it, and it's like $47, so cheaper than any private guitar lesson these days that you could go into a store and take. If you went into a store and took 1 hour guitar lesson, it would be a lot more than $47, especially if they're a good teacher. So for you get over 10 hours, I think it's more like 13 hours for $47. And I'm proud of the lessons, so they're going to be helpful. So I'm not like trying to con you. I'm also trying not to force you to buy it if you can't afford it. You can always watch the thousands of lessons I've done for free. Thank you so much, Anti-Phaosis. Thank you so much. Okay, so real quick, though, I'm on my little sales pitch. Anyone that buys that Inspired by Clapton course for $47, you get 13 hours with the PDFs, like a PDF that you could print out, and my teaching, all of that. Anyone who gets that, you're helping me pay Matt, who's moderating right now. You're helping me pay my editor. You're helping me keep the studio lights on and the roof over my head. But more importantly, you're helping me keep my family fed. It's actually my daughter's birthday today. Shout out to my daughter. I have 2 kids. It's my daughter's birthday today, and she's in college. And so when you buy that Inspired by Clapton course, you're helping pay for my people that help make this possible, and the roof over my head and the food on the table. And you're also helping me keep my daughter in college by helping me pay for her college tuition. So I really want to thank you guys for helping support that. Alex Holden said, buying her college beers. What's funny about that is I would say, yeah, totally. Except I don't know anyone out there that has other Gen Z kids. My daughter's 20 today. I know you're surprised. How could I have a 20-year-old daughter? I asked myself the same question. And since I'm their dad, they're not watching right now. They don't care about the live streams. They're not watching. They don't play guitar either. But Gen Z, right? Yeah, so Gen Z, like, they don't drink that much. So, like, her college experience is not binge drinking and going crazy with the partying. We have a good enough, or like open and honest enough relationship where she wouldn't keep that from me. So it's a little different. I did plenty of partying in college myself, and I was playing guitar and jamming and going to parties and all that. So I did my fair share. Okay, so real quick, she doesn't vape either. She doesn't do anything. Okay, so G minor, C minor, and G minor. But then this great little turnaround, E flat major 7. Well, the links definitely work. So what I recommend you do is maybe try a different browser and just go to martymusic.com. You'll see the course on there. martymusic.com. You don't have to, the link, I've tried the link. Well, I'm on my laptop. But just go to martymusic.com. You'll see it there. Okay, so E flat major 7, which is like an under. I say that chord's in under the bridge, but that's barred along the 6th fret. E flat is on the A string, 6th fret. Then 8th fret D, 7th fret G, 8th fret B, and it's a bar chord. Then down to D minor 7. Eric Kofi bought the course. Thank you so much, Eric. I'm taking my family out to dinner tonight, so that's going to help take them out to dinner for my daughter's birthday. Thank you so much. So E flat minor, major 7, D minor 7 to G minor 7. And all of those cool chords, you can play the G minor pentatonic over the whole thing, and it sounds great. So check it out. G minor, C minor, back to G minor. Now C minor. Back to G minor. Kylo Lamas. Thank you. E flat, D minor 7, G minor. Yeah, so I think I fulfilled the promise of the live stream. I talked about quite a few concepts. It's only been an hour's worth, so imagine 13 hours worth, where you can watch it, stream it, download it, and have the tabs and transcriptions along in PDF with it. And it's all soloing stuff. I didn't bother to get too into like, oh, he uses a D chord, or here's a 12-bar blues. No, we got to the good stuff. Engels family, thank you for the super chat. We went right to the good stuff, stayed in the good stuff. I stayed there the whole time. And so there's a lot of Blues Breakers, Cream, Derek and the Dominoes, solo stuff, Yardbirds. You know, I went all across the board, but I'd say the most of it is I got really inspired by the Blues Breakers era. I mean, I guess Derek and the Dominoes and Cream would be the most famous. So I did a lot of Cream style. You know, I'm not teaching the songs or anything. I'm just going into like inspired by stuff. So it's all licks and concepts and bending and nudgy bends and double stops and unison bends and trills, hammer-ons, pull-offs. Oh yeah, the other thing I did not do in this live stream was mixing the major and minor pentatonic. So real quick, this is the sound, and it's in the chorus, but the sound of that would be like. So that's a little bit taste of that. I did see someone said, is the course on a DVD? Can someone tell me what he's referring to, what a DVD is? Can someone tell me what a DVD? I don't know what that stands for. A DVD. What is that? Anyone know what a DVD? Anyone fill me in on that? DVD? AM Love. Love the stream, Marty. Glad to see the legend still at it. Thank you, AM Love. Dyer Holman, I saw your name before. I'm from a crazy posh place in Ireland. I look in people's windows. Okay. Let's see. Ray Legacy, Laffy. Dyer Holman, DMT. Yeah. Greg Levinson, thanks for another great stream. Greg, thank you for your continued support over the years. Appreciate it so much. 26 and a half hour lessons for $47. 26 half-hour lessons. Oh, I don't. They aren't. Yo, right. I got what you're saying. Yes. Um. Cliff Nipper, thank you. Augustin Cohen, thank you. Ozzy Farrow, one of the oldest viewers I have. I mean, longest viewers I've had. You're going to see Billy Ocean at Royal Albert Hall. Caribbean Queen, now we're sharing the same dream. I hope I don't get copyright for just singing that just there. Dave First, thank you. S Pilot, thank you. Jonathan, the Lick for Lulz. I don't know what that is. Juan Schwartz, my cousin Juan Schwartz. Teaching you a million songs. Thank you. Gokulnath Jopinath. Thank you so much for the comment. Sorry I didn't say your name. Great. Christopher Vincent. Jedro88. Nothing else matters. Yeah. Fluttered on Peroni. He's fluttered on Peronis and shite coke. The dozer purple man. Jonathan, Chad Main, digital video disc. Wow, that sounds advanced. That sounds very modern. I guess that's a DVD, digital video disc. I'm sure those will come out someday. We can only hope something so advanced will come out. Shauna TV, last line of Caribbean Queen. Now that's one of those things where is it Caribbean or Caribbean, and it's depending on like what your context is, right? Like the ride at Disneyland is Pirates of the Caribbean. Pirates of the Caribbean. Oh yeah, no, we'd always say when I was growing up, we would say Pirates of the Caribbean, and then also Caribbean Queen. But if you're going on vacation, you're going to the Caribbean. Caribbean, are they two different places? I don't think so. Augustin Cohen says, when they ask me who my favorite guitarist is, I say you. Thank you so much. You're very kind. You're flattering me. It works. You know, if I put on a list of my biggest dreams, someone saying I was their favorite guitarist was never on there. But man, it feels great. Feels great. And I know I'm known as a teacher more than a player, but you got to be able to play to teach. Although they also say those who can't play teach. But that doesn't offend me at all because I'm doing exactly what I want to do for a living. I have the dream I want, and I'm just trying to keep it going because I'm already doing what I want to do. I'm living my dream. Let's see. Drew Schoenbeck just got the Clapton course. Thank you so much. Adam Blenkin, you helped me learn guitar 10 years ago. That's the other thing. When I started making videos, I was experimenting with this new format called YouTube. And my first goal was to use YouTube to promote myself to get more private students. So the initial idea was I would make some guitar lesson videos for YouTube. And so, because I had my business card out at all the local guitar shops in my area, and I had a couple of paper ads. There was a thing called the Penny Saver. And I think I spent $20 a week to get my ad in the Penny Saver. Just think like a Facebook ad, but in the olden days. So I had, basic marketing going. And so I thought to myself, wow, I can be really different and innovative. If someone calls on a referral, I can, give my spiel, my little pitch on being a guitar teacher. But then I can also tell them to go to my YouTube channel to see my style of teaching. And then the next step was I started shooting. This will be one of those story videos, actually. But I started bringing my laptop to my private lessons, and then I would teach at the end of the lesson, the last like 5 minutes of the guitar lesson with somebody, I would shoot a little recap video. Hey, I just did, I was with, Yamakasi today, and I was with Yamakasi, and we worked on this Sunshine of Your Love. And so, just real quick, just to recap that for you. So work on that. And then also we worked on, tuning your guitar. Don't forget how to do that. I wrote the notes for you, blah, blah, blah. So that was basically the next step. So, and I'm only relaying that back to this person saying they've been learning from me for 10 years. When I was doing that 17 years ago, 2008, I had my first YouTube channel in 2005. And not everyone's been watching the whole time, but I just said it's my daughter's 20th birthday today. My very first YouTube channel was like 2005, 2006. My daughter was taking her first steps, who's now 20 today. She was taking her first steps, and I wanted to share the video, dad camcorder style. I wanted to share that video with my family who didn't live nearby, to share the video of her taking her first steps. And I had to take the old school cable out of the camcorder into my old first MacBook that I ever had. And what was it called? It was called Image Capture, I think was the app. And you basically recorded the video from the tape digitally into your computer in real time. Image Capture, I think it was called. And so I hit play, I hit record on the Image Capture on the computer, I hit play on the camera, and then I would leave if it was a long video, and then come back, and then it would be transferred digitally onto my laptop, and then I would put that into iMovie so I could edit it and add really cool music and special effects, old school special effects. And that was my first YouTube channel, was what we kind of use Dropbox for now. That was how I first thought of YouTube, was a video hosting, because you couldn't text a video, you couldn't email a video back then. iPhones weren't out, so I've been doing YouTube before, longer than an iPhone, which is wild. So yeah, 17 years now later, I'm still fortunate enough to get to do this. It's a privilege, an honor. So I thank you guys so much. But yeah, never knew that any of this would happen to me, like me talking about meeting Slash. Like, he was one of my guitar heroes. It was never even remotely realistic that I would meet Slash and he would actually know who I am, or remotely realistic that I would have my own signature guitar with the biggest guitar company. Those weren't even on my dream list, your dream board, whatever. Wasn't even on there. But 17 years ago, when my daughter was taking her first steps and all that, I was a professional musician and a professional guitar teacher. I taught and played gigs. I've played thousands of gigs, you guys. That's why you didn't see me go crazy when I got some recognition here on YouTube. I didn't go crazy and put a band together and start touring and stuff. I'd actually already done that and realized that I'd rather be home with my kids and getting to do stuff where people came to my computer screen instead of traveling around in a little white van or whatever. I've been in a tour bus as well. That'll be another story sometime. So let's see. What age did I start touring? I started touring in 1999. Thousands of gigs, 10,000. I definitely did the 10,000 hours. My next story video is going to come out about me learning guitar. And so I started learning guitar actually my senior year of high school. So I was a late bloomer and never was trying to become a musician for a living. Any gigs coming up in Petaluma again? Bay Area, Rich? Wow, Rich, I hope I ran into you or met you out there. I don't have any gigs planned in the immediate future for the Bay Area. I love it there. I'm just not seeking out gigs, especially I was usually playing like Kathy, who was watching earlier. She came to one of my New York gigs. I usually played New York before the pandemic. I was playing in New York City maybe twice a year, so I could meet people, that watch me and interact and have like a cool experience like that. Pandemic hit, I really just didn't think about it anymore. But in upstate New York, the Catskills of New York, in September, I am doing um, the Marty Music Mountain Retreat, which will have performances, master classes. Some of my favorite artists and favorite teachers will be there. Steve Stein, Michael Palmisano, Jared James Nichols, some other surprises, Dr. Molly Miller, um, a great artist that I love, Paul McDonald, performing, Moga Family Band, and one of my favorite bands. The best house band in Nashville, Pitch Meeting Band, will be there. I'm leaving so many things out. But in September 8th, that weekend in the Catskills of New York, Marty Music Mountain Retreat. And I think it's going to be a blast. So look out for that. Marty Music Mountain Retreat. Look that up. It's going to be the most epic retreat of all time because it's going to have performances like concerts. I'm going to be hanging out the whole time. Amazing accommodation, so it's all inclusive. Food, drink, amazing rooms. It's a beautiful resort out in the mountains. Unplug from your devices and play music. Unplug to plug in. That's my catchphrase today. So look for that. Also, get that Inspired by Clapton course. Okay, a couple more shout outs. Kent Monroe, Noah Harazi, Augustine Cohen again, Dyer Hallman again. A lot of comments from you guys. Thank you. So yeah, we're gonna wrap this up. Not mouth. Yo. Noah Harazi, I taught you how to play guitar. Well, thank you so much for trusting in me. Dr. Goldberger, make a song. B-Stacks, the Let It Be solo on the single version. Definitely did one of those solos. Jerry GF, sup? Jack, the link doesn't work. Well, maybe mobile, if you're doing mobile for some reason, maybe it's not working. But just go to martymusic.com. You'll see it there. martymusic.com. Michelle Costa? Jack? Yeah, go to martymusic.com. For some reason the link doesn't work mobily. Not sure why. I know typo negative. Jerry GF, Josh Norco. Taco time. Yeah, no, Brian's not here with me today. But getting dinner later for my daughter's birthday. Thank you, Noah. Pixel Eyes. How would Clapton play Telegraph Roads? I don't know that song. Chop Suey. That's a weird one on guitar. It's like down tuned. Booze Teddy Guy. Rouger Madness. John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. His name was my name too. John Jacob Jingleheimer Smith says, who was your first concert? Well, I have an older sister who dominated over me with whatever movie we would watch. She would get shotgun and she kind of bossed me around, my older sister. So my first concert was her concert that she wanted to go to, and I got taken to it. And it was a good concert, but it was my sister's concert that I was taken to, and it was the Go-Go's, all girl power, girl band, the Go-Go's. Woozy, what haircut does Clapton have? Teddy Hair Canal Cabellos. Hey, hello, great guitarist. Hello. Rico Nunez. When was the last time you played with Wise Monkey? Rico Nunez is referring to the band that I ended up in San Diego for. I'm more of an Orange County, LA person when I grew up, but I got in this band called Wise Monkey Orchestra in 1999. I didn't know them personally, and then next thing I know, I'm in a van touring with them, and I'm still friends with them. And I had an opportunity to play with them a couple months back. The only problem was I was in Nashville for stuff I was working on that I had to be there for. And so if I were to play with Wise Monkey, I basically would have like flown from Nashville to San Diego, played with Wise Monkey, and then the next morning got right back on a plane to go back to Nashville. So it just wasn't really feasible. But I love them. Like, you know, they're all my friends and family. We spent a lot of time together. So it's been a few years. But they don't play that much. They're like a retired band that gets together every once in a while. Soft rock lessons, like America and Others. Nothing's out of the question. Let's see, have I done... Did some really cool Beatles lately that's not out yet. But check out... I might be rusty here. But this solo is so good. Close your eyes. Send all my loving to you. All my loving I will send to you. All my loving, darling, I'll be true. All right. Take care, everybody. Oh, yeah, I gotta end it from back here. We'll see you soon. Thank you for your support. Later, people. Thank you. Thank you so much.